What happens when an asylum seeker gets picked up at the border? One of the first things that happens when someone crosses the border is they're taken to the nearest CBSA office, where officers determine whether they're even eligible to make a refugee claim. A claimant has to prove their identity, show that they're not a danger to the public, and demonstrate that they're not a flight risk. CBSA also runs health and security checks. Those include verifying identity through travel documents and biometrics like fingerprints and facial recognition. There are also criminal record checks through agencies like Interpol. Altogether, those checks can take more than 8 hours. So what happens if an asylum seeker doesn't pass those checks? That depends on the circumstance. They could be returned to the US if they have status there. If they can't be identified or have been convicted of a serious crime, they could be detained in Canada. Lastly, if they can prove they're not a flight risk or a danger to the public, they could be released on a promise to appear at a removal hearing. Now, if a claimant clears all those checks, they're released into Canada and required to file an asylum claim within 72 hours. But that's no guarantee that they'll get to stay. Of the nearly 24,000 asylum claims filed in Canada last year, only 44% were approved. The final step is an interview with a member of the Immigration and Refugee Board of Canada within 60 days after crossing. That's to determine whether or not the claimant meets the United Nations definition of a refugee. And the UN defines that as someone outside of their own country who can't return due to a well-founded fear of persecution due to race, religion, nationality, membership in a social group, or political opinion. If they qualify, they become refugees here in Canada and get to stay. If they're denied, they have 30 days to appeal. If they don't appeal and they don't leave, they can be arrested and deported.